The soft clink of glasses echoed through the cavernous lobby of the Royal Amber Hotel, bouncing off the marble floors like distant bells. Chandeliers hung overhead, shimmering like captured stars, casting glimmers across the polished surfaces. Guests drifted past in tailored suits and designer dresses, their laughter mingling with the delicate notes of a piano, each key a whisper of elegance. Amid this glittering world of wealth and whispered deals, a young black maid named Amara stooped to pick up a crumpled napkin someone had dropped without a thought. Someone who would never see her at all. Amara's life was stitched from quiet endurance. Every morning she slipped into her crisp uniform, tied her hair just so, and pasted on the practiced smile the hotel demanded. In this world, she existed only in service, invisible until a mistake revealed her. Yet beneath her composed exterior, a storm of dreams churned. She labored not for herself, but for her younger brother in Suriname who needed medicine, for her mother whose hands were worn and trembling, and for a fragile hope that one day something might change. It was a Tuesday afternoon when the lobby smelled faintly of jasmine from the vases by the entrance. Amara was dusting near the concierge's desk when a sharp ring cut through the hum of luxury. No one was around to answer. Heart thumping, she picked up the receiver, steadying her voice as she greeted the caller. But the voice on the other end spoke rapidly in Dutch, a language she hadn't spoken in months. The language of her grandmother's lullabies, of stories whispered across a long-forgotten kitchen table. Her pulse quickened. Something about the tone made her certain this was no ordinary call. Without missing a beat, Amara answered, her Dutch rolling off her tongue like silk, unfurling smooth, confident, practiced. What she didn't realize was that someone in the corner of the lobby had paused mid-sip of his coffee. His gaze, sharp and calculating, had fixed on her. He was no ordinary guest. His name was Adrian Lair, a billionaire whose shipping empire spanned continents, a man few dared meet. Most of life's surprises barely reached him, yet in that moment he felt a flicker of something unusual astonishment. A hotel maid, unassuming and quiet, speaking Dutch so flawlessly, in a voice laced with calm authority, stirred something long buried in him. When the call ended, Amara gently replaced the receiver and prepared to return to her dusting, unaware of the eyes still on her. Adrian rose, his polished shoes clicking against the marble, echoing in the vast lobby. "Excuse me," he said, his voice deep and commanding yet tinged with curiosity. Amara straightened, her hands fidgeting at her apron, her pulse racing. She knew exactly who he was. Everyone did. "That was Dutch, wasn't it?" he asked, his gaze intense. "Yes, sir," she replied, careful, polite. Adrian's eyes held a spark of intrigue. Not many spoke the language in this world of privilege and pretense. "Where did you learn?" Amara's voice softened, her story spilling out gently, like a secret long held. She spoke of her grandmother, of nights filled with whispered words, lessons not from books but from love. She spoke of how languages had always come naturally to her: English, Spanish, French, and now Dutch. For her, each word was more than a sound. It was a bridge, a thread connecting hearts across distance and time. Adrien listened, captivated. In that instant, amidst chandeliers and luxury, something unspoken passed between them, a recognition, a spark that neither had anticipated. Adrian watched her in the days that followed, not in the casual, fleeting way some wealthy men observed their staff, but with a genuine, almost startled fascination. He noticed how she moved with quiet dignity, even when guests were rude or dismissive. He noticed the light in her laughter when she joked with fellow staff. Yet the shadows lingering in her eyes told a different story, one of burden and sacrifice. And he noticed the way she seemed to sense who needed help before anyone asked, stepping in silently, never claiming praise, never expecting it. One evening, Adrian requested a private word. Amara's stomach knotted with anxiety. Had she done something wrong? Broken some unwritten rule? She straightened, bracing herself. But instead, Adrian's words surprised her. "I want to know your story," he said simply, with no judgment, only interest. And so, she told him. She spoke of hardship and loss, of a father gone too soon, leaving her mother to work tirelessly to keep the family afloat. She spoke of her brother, ill and in need of expensive treatment, and how every choice she made was to ensure he could survive. She spoke of the sacrifices she had made to come to the city, taking any job she could find just to send money home. Adrian listened in silence, the weight of her words stirring memories he thought were long-buried memories of his own mother, scrubbing floors in Belgium to put food on the table before his empire existed. A warmth he hadn't felt in years. Compassion rose unexpectedly in his chest. But life does not pivot on a single conversation. When Adrian gently offered to help, Amara hesitated, her pride and fear warring with the hope his words ignited. Could she trust this stranger, this man whose world was light years away from hers? Or would accepting his help change everything forever? She had seen too many promises vanish like smoke, and soon the world tested her in ways she hadn't imagined. Rumors began swirling among the hotel staff, whispers that the billionaire had taken an unusual interest in the maid. The murmurs grew cruel, some even suggesting she was trying to seduce him for money. Her manager confronted her one afternoon, eyes sharp, voice cold. "You're a distraction to our guests," he said. Threats of dismissal hung over her like a storm cloud. That night, tears burned her eyes as she lay awake. She had done nothing wrong, yet her dignity had been stripped away in the quiet, merciless corridors of gossip. Adrien, hearing of it, confronted the hotel management himself. His presence carried authority. His words silenced the whispers. The staff fell into wary silence, but the scars of humiliation lingered, unseen but raw. Still, Adrian did not turn away. Instead, he extended a hand that could change her life. An interview at his company, not as a maid, but as a translator for international clients. Doubt gnawed at her. She had no degree, no glossy resume, only the raw skill her grandmother had nurtured. Yet Adrian believed in her. When she stepped into that office for the first time, her fluency and passion lit up the room. Words flowed from her like sunlight breaking through clouds, and she earned the position. The challenges that followed were brutal. The corporate world was unforgiving. Colleagues doubted her. Clients tested her, and she juggled the pressure of work while sending money home. But each time, exhaustion tempted her to surrender. She remembered her brother's bright smile, her grandmother's whispered stories, and Adrian's steady words. "You are capable of more than you think." Slowly, steadily, she climbed, from translator to assistant manager, from assistant manager to leading entire projects. With her growing salary, she could finally afford her brother's treatments and ease her mother's burdens. And in the process, she learned something deeper. Strength wasn't given by wealth or position, it was forged in quiet courage, in the choices made when the world seemed set against you. Amara had survived, risen, and in doing so, proved that dignity perseverance, and hope could reshape a life even in the glittering, ruthless corridors of the world.